are listening to the Joe Mays and J-Raff Show, bringing you the latest news and commentary on baseball.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out! The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball!
Hockey.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup! The Flyers win the Stanley Cup!
College football.
The Big Ten championship lies on a measurement.
Did he get it? No! He didn't get it! Penn State home!
They brought back the fun, they brought back the excitement, and now they've brought back a Big Ten championship. The Penn State Nittany Lions are Big Ten champions.
And the NFL.
1:16 to go, 41 yards. Cardona to Allen. Wiskowski. 6 titles, 9 appearances. How about the drive to go close it out? You see Tom Brady. Enjoy him, folks. You're never, ever going to see it again. Not in our lifetime. Nope. So here's Zerline, part 1, 48 yards. That will end it. No good. The rain continues. Yes, it does. They've got to snap it one more time. The ball will end up in the hands of Tom Brady on the kneel down. And there it is. The dynasty continues.
Now, here are your hosts, Joe Mays and Justin Raffa.
Okay, I think that's enough, and Laura got the point. But Laura, you never saw that before.
I feel like I may have seen that before.
It's been around for a while, so it's not exactly new, but it is pretty funny.
The cat's
It's
just like
still
a
funny,
little
though.
cross-eyed.
Yeah, that's always Kelly's favorite part, the partially
Slightly
cross-eyed cat.
cross-eyed cat.
Yeah. So welcome everyone to episode 276 of the Joe Mays and J-Raff Show. And in case you couldn't tell by that really random introduction there, we're not talking sports yet. Justin's not even here this evening. I'm here sitting with my wife Kelly.
Hi.
Swing and a miss. And her best friend Laura.
Okay,
Okay,
first
a
of
little bit
all,
better.
It's
Hold on, can I introduce Greg? Or
No, I have a
leave
critique.
him hanging?
Oh, hey.
Greg's
I
not
have
here.
mild
so-
laryngitis.
is my mic on?
Yeah, of course it
I
is.
can't hear myself.
You can't hear yourself?
I can't tell.
Okay, well you're on.
you're
aren't
on.
you?
You're
Okay.
definitely on.
I have a critique.
Okay.
Your intro is so long.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very long.
It does need to get cut down a little. I
It's a
added
little girthy.
I added a bunch of the Super Bowl stuff, and it was just too much. So I need to cut down the Super Bowl stuff a little bit, and then it'll be back to where it was before.
Maybe just trim a little more than that too. Just
Well, the
I feel like that was way too hype to then pan to us sitting right here.
well the person narrating it probably could do a better job too. So
hey,
Oh.
you get what you pay for.
you replaced Greg too, so maybe it's time.
I was
maybe,
going to point that out.
Maybe I should now replace Kelly with Laura.
Hey, there we go.
It's free. I mean, you don't get paid for it, so.
If I don't get paid, I also can't control what I say in the intro, so...
He writes a script.
But I can, so. Well, so this evening, after, FriendsCast 1, where we did the deserted island scenario, which was a lot of fun, then FriendsCast 2, about a month ago, we talked about, what was it, what do we call it? Kiss, Marry... Destroy?
I guess I can't say what it's actually called.
Yeah.
I think it was Kiss Mary Punch.
Kiss Mary Punch, as well as Would You Rather. We weren't sure where to go with this third and final one for the foreseeable future. And then Justin wasn't able to join us. That left us with 4 people who watch Game of Thrones. So Kelly and Laura were pretty excited
Justin
to talk about it.
wasn't able to join us.
We actually just kicked him to the side and took over the show.
Uninvited.
Sorry, J-Raff.
And Jamie, we still love you.
So here we are. We're going to talk Game of Thrones. We're not necessarily just going to recap or talk about last week's episode as we prepare for, what would this be, episode 3 of season 8, which is halfway point to the final.
4,
of the series.
isn't it?
It's 4.
This is 4?
Yeah.
Oh, so we're more than halfway.
Yep.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I thought this was 3. So yeah, that's right. There were
Escalated quickly.
2 build-up episodes, then the episode last week. So yeah, we're on 4. Oh man.
You just said to me how next weekend is the penultimate episode. Like,
Yeah.
20 minutes ago we had that conversation because you're like,
Yeah.
wow, Mother's Day. And then, like, you forgot that
Yeah.
whole thing.
It happens.
Happens a lot.
So why don't you tell everyone what you read about episode 5?
Well, I read a BuzzFeed headline. Did not read the article because that's not my thing. I just read the headlines.
This makes a lot of sense.
Well, I may have actually read the article, so go ahead.
It said that they interviewed Maisie Williams, and she said that episode 5 is like mind-blowing, more so than last episode, like the penultimate
I
episode.
thought it was Emilia Clarke. Was it Maisie Williams?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, the one I
headline.
read was Amelia Clark. That said
Okay,
that.
maybe it was Amelia Clark. At any rate, next week's supposed to be like a big deal. So, we'll see.
Cool. Well, that'll be fun. It was kind of awkward to see. I mean, we're going to be discussing spoilers. I don't know if I need to say that. Anyone watching this
Spoiler
show.
alert.
This is a spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen Game of Thrones or you don't care, like my dad last week, first episode of Game of Thrones was last week for him.
Oh. Well, that's okay. My sister hasn't seen any of it, and we actually thought, we were joking around that it would be really funny to start this podcast by showing her, like, before it starts, like, the 17-minute recap of the whole series, and then start it just with her face, which I'm sure would just be like...
Yeah.
And just answer her questions, because I'm sure that would be hilarious, and...
There would be a lot of them.
Yeah.
So let's talk about last week, how they did a lot more things with the enemy. I guess that's the big bad, that it came to a conclusion that I don't know that we were all expecting for the Night King to die already. I kind of thought it would be drawn out a little bit.
I guess I thought this whole season was going to be about killing him.
Right.
So it surprised me that it happened, like, in episode 3, and then I sort of felt like, well, what's going to happen the rest of the season? So, yeah. But it happened in a pretty badass way. So.
It did.
Yeah,
I was very thrilled with how it worked out.
I thought that would have been like, say, the 5th episode, and what's going to happen probably in episodes 4 and 5 would have happened earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And that whoever was alive after the aftermath was still yet to happen was going to just fight off the Night King, and then they'd figure out everything else, but
Right.
it's sort of going to be in reverse from that.
But that's why I think there has to be more going on with Bran, because he's still a pretty big mystery, and the Night King is gone, but there's that whole element that we don't really know.
Right. Like, it's his part.
Like, clearly,
over.
that's been a pretty big crux of the story. Like I was saying to Greg earlier, like, starts with kid falling out of a window,
Right.
and now here we are, and the Night King obviously was very interested in him, so...
Right. There's got to be a reason.
It has to be going somewhere.
I had seen some things that were a little bit interesting in the past week that I hadn't caught whenever we watched it. And we only watched it once. We're not really...
Yeah, we've only seen it once.
We
It was
don't-
very dark.
Yeah, and we don't really rewatch. I know like friends at work who watched it and then watched it again like 2 days later, and we
I'm watching it
Generally.
right now.
Greg's talking and watching.
we just don't.
It's
I
not as
don't
dark
have
as
the
I
time.
remember. I wonder if they did something about that, or just
Your eyes have adjusted.
I was so nervous, and now I'm not. So
It was also like taking place at night, so I don't think it's supposed to be lit up like a theater.
No, but there was the problem was that not everyone watches it the way that they cut it and edit it. They use such great production equipment, and they basically make every episode now that it's like a movie, and movies and television are just so different. I read a couple of articles from like CNET and some tech blogs of why it was like this, and they're like, yeah, it's probably not the best for the majority of users, but when you get it on Blu-ray, it's going to look even better. And
Well, there's
if
a couple
your
people
television,
that have
4K,
4K,
HDR,
yeah. We
But,
don't.
I mean, we were fine with Kelly just like, I'm going to turn the lights off, and we're like, okay, that's a little better. I guess we'll watch it this way.
Yeah, but I was eating cereal. Okay, and that's hard to do in the dark.
How were you even eating during that? We were sitting there like...
It was tough. It
Okay,
really
well,
was.
we hadn't had dinner because, like, at dinner time on Sunday, we're like, we're not really hungry right now. But then, like, by 9:30 when we got to there, I was like, well, now I'm hungry.
Right.
So I got a bowl of cereal, and then we're like, we need to turn the lights off so we can see this. The thing is, with cereal, you don't realize how much you look at what you're doing while you're eating cereal.
Yeah, that's not like a...
And then I got to the end of, like, what was in my bowl, and I was like, fishing around, like, is there more in here? Or am I just, like, eating milk soup now? Like, yeah. Anyway, what I was going to say was that there were some things that people talked about that I hadn't noticed the first time we watched it. One of them being that at the sort of climax of the show, whenever Jon Snow's trying to get around the zombie dragon, and he just can't get by it. And at one point, he just stops and screams at the dragon, like stands there and is just like, "Wah!" And you're like, well, that was useless. Why would you do that?
Right.
I read that he's not actually screaming at it. He's screaming, go now.
Right.
Which I feel like I want to rewatch that 10-second span to hear that.
I watched it. You can definitely tell.
Can you?
Yeah, I was
Now
gonna say,
if
I
you
watched
know-
a clip. Once I read about it, I watched just that part. And
Yeah, so he knew that Arya was trying to get by, which I 100% did not pick up on the first
Yeah,
time. So I kind of want
Which
to
makes
rewatch
me
that 10
love
seconds.
that whole thing even more.
Right. I love that he didn't have to be the hero. He was okay with somebody else.
He didn't have to be the hero, and he
Getting
was
there.
sort of the one that taught her the very basic of skills in the beginning, and that whole story kind of came full circle,
Yeah.
especially like when she handed Sansa the knife and was like,
Stick him with the pointy
right,
end.
sticking
Yeah.
with the pointy end, and so I like that makes me love that whole storyline even more. So
Yeah.
I would love to know more details than that. I'm interested to see tonight, like where they will pick up.
Yeah, is it going to be like immediately moments afterwards?
Right. Well, actually, did I say this to you when we were having a discussion earlier, or was I just thinking this? That I was thinking, if I didn't say it, that I wonder if there'll be a time jump. I wonder if we'll see like cleanup after the battle and like them getting ready to march down to King's
I
Landing.
mean, really,
or...
how do you clean up from that? Because that's just
Right, like do we
like
we don't
burn
need to
basically
see
burn
that.
Winterfell and leave
Right.
Well,
forever.
I mean,
Like
yeah, they have a dragon. I would just like pile them all up and burn them.
I mean, they do have a dragon.
Let's just burn them. You did say that to me, but what
Okay.
you specifically said to me was, do you think they're going to have a time
Oh,
jump to
you're
where
right.
Cersei has the baby?
Yeah. Well,
So-
like, not that she has it, but that she's still pregnant.
Oh, okay.
Like
So-
farther along.
Yeah,
should
I
say.
don't see that
You don't
happening.
think it's going to go like 6 months or anything like that?
But like, I feel like it would be too easy. Like, when have they ever done that in this show?
Well, they never specifically were like 5 years later. They just sped up time and didn't tell anyone. Like all of last season, everything was condensed, but they just didn't tell you that. So I mean, they could do the same thing. You know, just all of a sudden you can
How-
travel long distances in an hour. you
Well,
know?
yeah, but like, there's no epic show. Like, if you watch Lord of the Rings, they're not like 6 days
What's
later
that?
they're
I
out of
don't
the
know.
salt marshes. Like, you just have to assume that yes,
Right.
they were been traveling for a while. But how old was Arya supposed to be when the whole show started? Like,
12, I think.
okay, so they're
6 years. I think each season is essentially a year because she was 12 then and she's 18 now, I believe.
okay, but there's 8 seasons and
Oh,
that's
okay,
6
so
years.
not quite. I was thinking 6 seasons. You're right. 8 seasons. So it's not quite a year. It's like
Okay.
3/4 of a year.
My point is they've never done the
No, they've never said
time.
this is
big
how
time.
much time
I don't
has
think they
passed.
will now either.
Okay.
I think it's too important to see, like, for for them to march on King's Landing and for Cersei to know that they're coming.
I'd be mad if they sped up time at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I have too many questions from where that whole ended to just be like, okay, well,
Yeah.
3 months later.
I also just really want to see someone pat Arya on the back for that. Like,
Yes.
like I just really want her to like. I don't know if you saw the memes like Monday night after it, would like people like doing the swag walk, like
Yeah.
and it's like Arya after she kills the Night King.
I know.
It's like all these people doing like this crazy walk, and it's like, yeah, that she needs to get a little credit for that before we move on.
Let's look at the people we lost last episode. Which one was the most difficult to watch, or that you're most disappointed to know is gone and not coming back over the next tonight, and then 2 weeks after or week after, whatever it is, 2 weeks after?
I mean, I had a really irrational hatred towards Jorah Mormont, so I'm not sad that he's gone. Like,
Wait, why
He's
did-
such a whiny bitch that all the
Why
time.
like, he's so whiny and his face is so wrinkly, and I just like it's so irrational and mean, and it's I don't know. I just
He's
did not
like
like.
the guy that got put in the friend zone and he couldn't handle it.
Yeah, but also like, how old was he?
Yeah, it was creepy.
Like, because he seemed like he might have been the same age as his dad. So
Right?
like,
He was very like weathered.
but weathered to like an uncomfortable.
Right. And I don't know how old Daenerys was supposed to be when the show started, but in the book she's like 14.
Yeah, it just.
So it's weird.
Yeah,
It's weird.
I mean, I look at her as an adult now, but I definitely didn't when the show started. So
Right.
it just was really, I don't know.
Right.
I never really liked him.
And she's matured, but he seemed to stay the same. So
Like, still pining after her and, like, get over it. She's sleeping with her nephew. Like, move
Yeah.
on. Like,
That makes it better.
I was really bummed that Ed died.
Yeah.
And it really, not that he was this huge character or anything like that, but he was always there and he was always on Jon Snow's side.
mm-hmm.
But just because he died because Sam was being such a little... Can I say things like that?
You gotta be careful here.
Not very helpful in battle.
Yeah.
Like,
he was the
fine
weak link.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, Ed saved you and then got killed for the, like, hell of it.
It's sad because it's, other than Sam, it's the last of the Night's Watch people that we were introduced to. What was that, back in season 1?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't gain real notoriety until later, like season 2, and then they really built up, and we've lost some along the way. Ed was the last one, other than Sam, to survive, and unfortunately he was killed. You already mentioned Jorah.
What does Greg think?
You mentioned Barrack. Yeah, Greg, what about you? Who's the person that you were most disappointed to see go last week?
Oh gosh.
Lyanna.
Oh, yes.
She,
I forgot
Yeah.
her. What a badass lady that is.
Maybe Barrett
Yeah.
and maybe Jorah, because I feel like their characters have been around since like the first season,
Yeah.
and to kind of just go out like that, which, I mean, I feel like the writers had to write off some of the main characters because it wasn't like possible that like every single main character survived the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I think a lot of people were actually not wanting, but would have found it to be more believable if more main characters were killed off during that.
Yeah, I really thought we were going to lose someone of more significance. I mean, I didn't like losing some of the ones we did, but it made sense.
but everyone's breathing too
Oh,
easily
no,
right now,
no.
which is why, like,
Well, next week,
what is going to
I
happen?
feel like next week's going to
Okay,
be a blow.
I'm changing my answer. Oh gosh, Alfie Allen.
Oh,
Theon.
As
Theon.
Theon?
Greyjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish he would have at least had a little bit more of a cool ending, even if he died. Like, okay, so he gets stabbed by the Ice King, and he's laying there. Arya jumps out of the tree, is being held by the Night King. Theon, with his last dying breath, sweeps the Night King's legs out from under him, and then Arya stabs him. That would have been totally awesome.
It would have been cool if Arya would have showed
No,
up like
I'm sorry.
30 seconds
I love
earlier.
that Arya did that all by herself.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
to say she
I
flew
know,
out of the
I
air like a
know, but,
ninja.
Yes, but I thought the way he went out was a little lame.
I agree. I remember thinking while he was laying there and like the blood was pooling underneath him, I was like, get up. Like, one last effort.
It also would have been cool if he took out some of the other guys that were standing there.
Yeah, like one of the other
didn't just like.
whites or whatever they're
They
called.
I mean,
didn't
he
do
did
anything.
take out.
I mean, considering his storyline, though, I feel like it was the best. It was his best effort.
I feel like he was redeemed.
It
at
was
least.
a solid B+ for Theon Greyjoy. Like,
Yeah, I feel like he was.
He survived Ramsey. Like,
Yeah. I feel like he paid the price for the crap he pulled before that, like taking Winterfell and all of that, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Melisandre?
now she can go.
Nah.
Storyline was over.
Yeah.
She's done. It's like she just walks out and dies.
and
See ya.
I guess I'll die now.
everyone was like, "Bye, Felicia." Like, no one cared.
All right. Well, why don't we, before we can go back in time and talk about earlier seasons, or we can just talk about expectations for the rest of the series. But why don't we watch the short preview for tonight's episode?
Okay, but what happened to Ghost?
Well,
Yeah, where is Ghost?
maybe you should watch.
He's around.
We have won the Great War. Now we will win the last war. We'll rip her out, root and stem.
Did they not show him? I thought they showed him.
Ghost?
He's there. He's alive. We
Can
know
I
he
just
is.
say, and this might be an unpopular opinion,
I love unpopular opinions.
Sansa, she has grown on me a lot through the series, for sure. But I just think, like, girl, bend the knee to somebody. It is not you. Like, you are not the chosen one.
I also think, like
Like,
she did
any of
nothing.
your siblings are better than you. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. She did nothing. And you don't have a dragon, so,
Right.
like, you have a pretty face and you've gained some smarts, but it's time to...
Right.
So,
And I wonder if, like, that scene in the crypt was her kind of having that realization. Like, I'm wondering if she's going to gain some humility from that experience, or if she's still going to be like, no, but it's mine, but she's not doing anything to really fight for it. Like, everyone who's actively fighting for the throne at this point is actively fighting, whereas she is sitting.
Yeah. I guess I never really thought about her as even being in contention for the throne.
But I think she thinks that she's in contention.
Yeah, this has never occurred to me,
I
because
don't-
she's just so lame.
this was in the video we just watched.
Oh, is that Ghost?
Yeah, that's Ghost there. You can see him there hanging out.
Thank God.
So, Ghost, yes, Ghost lives. I saw it mentioned
Really,
last
if
week.
Ghost
but,
can be sitting on the Iron Throne at the end of this, then...
Yes, can the dire wolves rule?
right? Well, there's only two left, right?
Well, yeah.
Nymeria and
Yeah,
Ghost.
but she's, like, out in
Haven't
the
seen
wild.
her since literally, the second episode when Arya sent her
Well,
away?
as of the end of the last book, she's still out in the wild, too, so... Who knows?
Well, why don't we...
Hey, Dan's here.
Hey, Dan.
Hi, everybody.
Dan, why don't you share, like, what your bracket looks like at this point?
What, the Deadpool? Is that what this is?
It's Dan has a bracket for, like, who will be sitting on the throne at the end. Go ahead,
Okay.
Dan.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was way off. I thought it was going to start a lot faster than it did. Just the way the final season kind of ended.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot more setup than I thought. So I kind of dispersed my deaths through episode 1 through 6 away way more evenly than I should have. But I thought, like, Grey Worm would die with honor.
I would be so sad if that were true. Not the honor part, but just the death
I
part.
thought there'd be one really big death, like, in the beginning, just, like, as a shocker. Like, I thought maybe Jaime Lannister would die or something right in the beginning. But nothing really happened with that.
Yet. dot, dot, dot.
Yeah, well, can we talk about Jaime for a second? Because has anyone else in the series gone from most hated to one of the most
Yes.
loved than Jaime Lannister has?
Well, Theon made quite the, like, full
Theon
circle.
made an interesting turn, but
Like,
because
Yeah,
Because
he
but
started...
back to left
I wouldn't
again.
say I love Theon like I love Jamie
Yeah.
now.
No.
No,
You also liked
I
Theon at the
still-
beginning.
He still sleeps
Right,
with
so I
his
mean, he
sister.
came full circle.
He did.
What did you just say?
He goes, no, he still sleeps with his sister.
Can he, though? Because...
But he knighted Brienne. He's making a comeback.
I know.
Jon Snow's sleeping with Daenerys. Like, that's a whole messed up
It
situation,
is.
too.
It's very incesty.
It's
They
all-
haven't since he found out though.
That's...
I mean,
It's
there
not
hasn't
for-
been time,
not for
Greg.
lack of
they have
like
been,
wanting, though.
Yes, they have been at war. There's no time.
I have to say, during last episode, I was disappointed that like the two of them just spent a lot of time like flying around in the air.
Well,
Yeah,
like, what was
that
Daenerys
was a
doing?
big-
Like, where did she go?
That was a big critique by a lot of reviews that I read.
Like they really weren't. The only time that Jon Snow was down on the ground was at the very end when he was basically distracting a dragon so Arya could get by.
Like they
And
said,
Dany, super
if
disappointing.
Jon could have done half of what he did in the Battle of the Bastards during this episode, that would have been cool.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% agree. And I think Dany was, and this is why, for some reason, I don't think that she will end up on the throne. Because in the end of this battle, she showed that she was not that strong.
Right.
Like, she always needs someone else to defend her. Like, she would have just died real quick if Jorah hadn't shown up. And I mean, she eventually picked up a sword, but she didn't do that much. She is really good at delegating and being all up on her high
All
horse.
up on her high dragon.
Yeah, her high dragon, but she's not really great when it comes down to like the nitty gritty of it.
Are we going to see a lot of that fallout tonight? The two of them fighting now over what they're going to do?
I mean, if they're going to do each other, or if they're going to decide who's going to be
Do as in the throne, do as in... What kind of do you mean?
Do be more specific.
I mean, I don't get the sense that Jon wants the throne, though.
I can't tell. Honestly, I'm not sure. But I feel like maybe it's obvious that he would be one of the favorites to land on the Iron Throne in the end. And that's where I would lean. I
This
just...
doesn't feel like the kind of show where you get what you want, though.
I was going to say, I don't think, like, Greg was saying this nice little, like, what if it all ends where, like, Sansa has the North and Daenerys is on the throne, but also, like, Gendry gets, like, the bastard thing taken away, and then he's really the heir, so he's given whatever. I'm like, I don't think that this is being broken up into shares.
Yeah.
Like, that would be too
easy. Too happy.
Yeah.
Too tied up in a neat little bow.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be great for all of our feelings, but I don't
Right.
think anyone has ever cared about our feelings. So.
I also read a
after
headline.
season 3.
I also read a headline. Again, didn't read the article. But the headline said that the showrunners refused to acknowledge that the Night King is actually gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, because they were directly asked the question, are we going to see the Night King again? And they were like, we're not going to answer that.
Well, that's why I wonder about Bran.
Right.
Like, what's his...
Right, okay. Well, and Kelly brought this up as a potential to talk about tonight, so let's do it. What are some of everyone's favorite theories? And one of them that's out there is Bran is the Night King. It's kind of this weird circular logic. You know, does everyone subscribe to that notion? Do you think it's a possibility? Greg?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's
I
hard to
think
think
Bran might be like Neo in the Matrix, and we don't really understand what exactly he was.
Yeah.
And then you're just at the end like, also kind of like Jack at the end of Lost.
We didn't watch that.
Yeah.
I just feel like there has to be more to the story because so much of this entire series had that, like, fantasy aspect to it, and for that to be done before the series is done just doesn't line up. I go back and forth whether or not I lean towards he is evil because I feel like that whole thing ended way too simply for him to just be good, and that whole...
Well, I wonder if it's a thing where, like, the Three-Eyed Raven had to die so that he could become the Three-Eyed Raven. I wonder if the Night King had to die so that Bran could become the next Night King or something like that. I don't know. He's just really creepy, and he sits around staring at people, making them uncomfortable. So
last week we were watching, Dan kept going, snap out of it, Bran. The rainbow spinning wheel's still going. It's still spinning. It's still spinning. It's still uploading.
Get there faster.
There's a theory out there about if Cersei dies, who's going to kill her? Because the whole prophecy says, like, your little brother is going to do it. But that's, like, you could take that literally, and it could be either Jaime or Tyrion. Or you could take that a lot less literally, and it could be, like, any little brother. Not necessarily your little brother, or maybe it just means, like, little child, or... person younger than you.
I hope it's Jamie.
I feel like that's the way it should be.
I feel like there would be a lot of closure if it were Jamie.
Yes.
Yes.
I feel like that's what everybody wants, so.
But again, I feel like we're not going to get what we want at the end of this.
Well, could
I
it
just
be?
hope Jamie or Cersei doesn't kill Jamie.
Could it be
Yeah.
someone out of the blue like Sansa? Because she would be killing a pregnant Cersei after
So,
she
who
had
was
her
telling
hand
me
in
this?
killing her Sansa's brother. You know.
Yeah.
Someone was saying, Laura, was it you, about somebody was reading about Gendry? Oh no, I think it was Emily Deardorff. She was saying that in an earlier episode, somebody pointed out that the only thing that Gendry could remember about his actual mom was that she had blonde hair. So
maybe
is Cersei like his actual mom? Like, is he actually a Baratheon? And for whatever reason, he was
hidden.
Yeah.
Maybe because she didn't want Robert Baratheon's child on the throne, she wanted her and Jaime's children on the throne.
I mean,
How would she have hidden that, though? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if he was away for a long time. Kings go away for a long time, right? People
Yeah.
leave for like months at a time back then. Or when is this set? Feels like a long time ago, but
I mean, it's
Star
ever
Wars
know-
feels like a long time ago, and it's supposed to be way in the future. So
Do you know? I don't think
no,
you know.
Star Wars is set a long time ago. Not in the
okay,
future.
then I said that backwards. It
Yeah.
feels like the future, but with all the space travel.
Right.
So I don't know. What, Laura? Sorry.
I was gonna say, you don't ever really know like a year
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Yeah. I guess it's in a land that doesn't exist, so it doesn't matter when it
Time doesn't exist.
it's all not real. Also, side note, did anybody see the Game of Thrones intro done entirely with Oreo cookies?
Oh, that's incredible. Let me
No.
pull that up.
It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, I'll pull that up and we can play that.
I just want to backtrack a second to the fact that Bill Mays just watched episode 1 last week. What were his takeaways? Like,
No,
can
not
we-
episode 1. He watched last week's battle.
Oh,
That's what I was saying. He hasn't watched anything, and he watched
The Battle
last
of
week.
Winterfell was the first thing he has
Right.
ever watched for the Game of Thrones. And I said, did he just sit there and be like, what's happening the
yeah,
entire time?
What is this?
How do you watch a battle like that without knowing who you're supposed to be rooting for?
Right?
Like, you have no emotional investment in it
Right.
at that point. Meanwhile, I was fully emotional invested. And then Wednesday we saw Endgame, and I feel like my emotions have just been like,
Just like,
run
All over the place.
like a washcloth this week.
All right, should we watch some Oreo Game of Thrones?
yeah.
All right.
Are you watching?
The Oreo Game of Thrones.
It's the entire intro is Oreo cookies.
It looks
Somebody
delicious.
has a lot of flippin' time on their hands.
Laura, if it wasn't all gluten-y, though, it would be delicious, right?
But maybe those are not Oreos. Maybe those are Glutinos or JoJo's.
Just
No,
imagine.
they're Oreos because this is made by Oreo.
Oh, makes sense.
And they have the house sigils on the cookies.
The funny thing is, I saw...
Wait, can you buy those at the store?
Yeah, I saw them in the store, and I sent Joey a picture of those and was like, huh, look at this.
Says someone who never goes down the regular cookie aisle.
Right, right. We didn't buy them, but I just sent Joey a picture of the package. I was
Right.
like, hey, Game of Thrones cookies, and I
Like,
moved
hey,
on.
look at these.
Yeah.
But I was like, are they most stuff? I don't want them if they're not.
Worthless.
Right. This means nothing. You're dead to be.
Stuff.
What are you making us?
BT Dubs Jorah's about to get it.
Now you
Oh,
fast
no.
forward.
No.
You just started it a while ago.
No.
I
Jorah
just
Mormont.
really loved in that moment that, like, Arya comes flying out of nowhere. You're like, she's gonna kill him, and then she's like, oh no, he's got her by the throat, and then she pulls like the hand trick, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
there she
great.
is. It was so good. I saw someone's opinion that was like she was a total. I forget the name that they
Mary
used.
Sue. Is
Mary
that what you're
Sue,
gonna say?
yeah.
No, they've literally been building up her character since the beginning.
Like she's been training to be
She
an
went to
assassin
train,
for 8
right.
years.
Valar
Right.
Morghulis.
Like, she's not a Mary Sue. She specifically trained to do that.
Right.
It just
I
really
saw
threw me
some-
off
her
the whole article.
storyline kind of dragged on for a long time. Like, okay, where is this going? And now that we see the end picture,
We're
it's
like, okay,
yes.
thank you.
And it got a little creepy, like whenever she was first back at Winterfell and her and Sansa were like not quite friends again yet.
Right.
And I was like, well, did she just go crazy?
Is she gonna kill everyone?
Is she gonna kill everyone?
Right.
Then she rolled it in a little. So
I was texting Emily as we were watching because I knew we were watching at the same time, and as it was happening, I was like, "Oh, bend the knee!" And she goes, "A girl has a name, and the name is Queen."
So I'm rewatching this. It's pretty much as intense as I remember, if not more so.
yeah.
Is Dan still there? Dan, you're
Yeah.
quiet.
So
Crickets.
I saw some interesting things.
Yes.
Care to share them?
One, Stannis Baratheon is not actually dead because you
What?
didn't
Wait.
see him die.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
nah, yeah. I mean, I've heard that. I
And
thought you meant like
also-
you saw that last week, like he's in the background somewhere.
Yeah,
He's like lurking. He
Actually,
galloped
maybe
off
he was.
into the distance with the.
He
with
could
the
have
red
been a
woman.
white.
Yeah.
We don't.
I guess,
He was just
yeah.
kind of.
We saw Brienne stab him though, right? And then he was like against a tree or
Yeah,
something,
but
and then she walked away.
We don't know that. Like
She-
that. She,
it looked like she was going to behead him, but you never saw it happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Ugh, I hope he's dead. He's gross.
Yeah.
Anyone who's okay with burning their daughter alive?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
whole
that's no-
storyline,
Nope,
I just was
nope.
very much over.
Nope.
I kind of wish Davos could have attacked Melisandre. I mean, I know she kind of helped in the end.
Dadvos. I know.
Dadvos.
Yeah, he's such a dad. I really want it to be possible for him to take the Iron Throne.
Davos.
Davos.
He's such
Seaworth.
like a big teddy bear. He seems like a
Wait,
very
Dan never shared who
noble
he
person.
picked as sitting on the Iron Throne at the end.
Yeah,
Go-
who wins your bracket?
You ready for this?
Oh, if you really want to know,
I do.
I like to go against the grain because Game of Thrones have always thrown curveballs at us. So my guess is Samwell Tarly.
Oh.
He was also the first face you saw this season.
I'm also a little annoyed with him right now,
Oh, don't say that.
but I can
He's
get.
sort of like, I can't be annoyed with him because when I look at him, I see my friend Manuel from Spain, and I'm like, oh, like, he probably would have cowered too.
The thing is, like, he made a big deal about, like, I've killed a White Walker. Like, I did that, and then, like, he was
didn't do too
useless
much,
this
yeah.
whole battle. I wanted him to pick up a sword and really
Yeah.
come out, but he just did not do that.
That's an interesting choice.
But I'm not saying I wouldn't forgive him.
When Greg called Dan tonight to ask, he's like, Dan, I just wanted to know if you would, and he was going to say, be on the podcast with us, and Dan goes, come dressed as Samwell Tarly, I will.
That's so funny.
Well,
Then Greg offered to dress as Jilly just to let you. Or Gilly.
It's the quiet piano music.
Ooh.
FYI.
I read something about her this week too, and I'm trying to remember what it was.
Gilly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Really?
like she's gonna end up being more important than we think. It's just a theory. It's a fan theory, but and it was something about the origin of her name has some sort of definition that was really important. And I have my phone in front of me, and I could look it up right now,
Well,
but I'm not going to.
More important as in the Queen of Westeros.
So,
No,
do we have
I remember what it was. Sorry, go ahead. I'll say it after.
do we have predictions for tonight?
I don't even know what to predict. I do we think they're gonna march to King's Landing tonight? Or is that gonna are they gonna do that at the end and set it up for next week? Like, I don't think there's gonna be a battle tonight.
No battle.
We're getting exposition.
I think maybe though some. I don't know.
Do you think there'll be some backstabbing in the north?
North, no, but I think we're
I know
gonna.
about backstabbing, but I think George has got it. Sorry.
I think we're gonna see more of like Pirate Pacey and
I think maybe
fits in the whole thing.
some more deaths though.
I'm ready for him to go.
Who?
Yeah.
You're on.
Oh well,
Pirate
I'm
Pacey.
sure he will.
Tell me he doesn't look
He looks
like
exactly
Pirate
like
Pacey.
Joshua Jackson. So Pirate Pacey
I
fits
didn't know what
perfectly.
you were saying for a second, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that is so true.
We were watching it like in episode 1 or whatever when he was on, and Joey's like, he looks like, I'm like, yep, He's like, from. I'm like, yep. I'm like, yeah.
Which is funny because I don't know him from that.
No, I don't know.
I know him from Mighty Ducks. That's what I know him from.
I never watched Dawson's Creek, but like it was enough. I know. I'm sorry. I'm a
You
huge
never watched
disappointment
Dawson's Creek or Lost, and now
No.
Laura's like
How are we friends?
Greg, I've also
I
never seen
never
Avatar.
I mean, I've never seen, let's address that again.
I feel like that's just what he was in my teenage years, so that's what everyone knew him from. So
Right.
But tell me Euron does not look like old pirate Pacey.
He looks exactly like that.
He does. He does.
It's creepy.
Ugh.
Also, Laura, did you see that Joe Jonas and what's her face got married?
I
in
did.
Yes.
the other night?
I did.
An Elvis impersonator married them.
I know. I saw.
It made me so
I
happy.
read all the tabloids.
I know. I almost texted you the picture of them, like, laying on a pink convertible or whatever they were doing. And I was like, this happened.
Yes, and I definitely recapped all the old viral videos that were going around, like going around this week, like talking about Sophie Turner and Maisie Williams' friendships. Mm-hmm. They were in a car rapping Hakuna Matata over the Game of Thrones theme song.
Here you go.
Oh my goodness. Look at it.
Yeah, it's really creepy.
They're like the same person.
They are really the same
Uncanny.
person. That's a future podcast, is like naming all the celebrity lookalikes,
yeah.
because I have
Doppelgangers.
Yes.
It's uncanny. That's actually kind of freaking me out right now.
Like in college, this is just a little aside, my roommate and I always played which one is it? Glenn Close or Meryl Streep?
Yes, I still don't know which one's which.
It's not even the only like photo that works too. Like you can find multiple ones.
I have thought it, but Pirate Pacey is really
Pirate
funny.
Pacey is Euron Greyjoy. Very much.
I just
wants
couldn't.
Cersei.
All I could think of when him and Cersei, like, that they showed that they had slept together was, he must smell terrible.
I think that about a lot of people on Game of Thrones.
I know,
Like,
and they're like just banging away, and I'm like, oh, the body odor that must exist in these close quarters. Just I don't know
I
how
also
anybody
think,
got
like,
made.
how do none of you have more body hair than you do? Like,
Right?
other questions
Right.
I have.
Suspicious amount of waxing going on.
So let's.
So wait, who do you guys all think will end up on the throne?
I'm gonna go. I think what has become now unconventional and say someone that we kind of expect to, and I'm just gonna say it's gonna be Jon. I think Jon in the end. I think actually he's gonna have to vanquish Dany though to get it.
Like kill her?
In some way, yeah. Maybe it won't be him directly. You know, maybe he won't be able to do it, just like Ygritte a few years ago. But I think it'll be him.
Yeah, I hope it's that.
I have who I think it will be and who I want it to be,
Lay
which
it
is
on
not
us.
the same thing. I want Jon Snow to get the throne just because I like him. He has a right to it. He's like a noble person. He doesn't backstab people just to get what he wants. In the end, I think Cersei's gonna get it. I think.
Really? You
yeah.
think they're gonna go that route? Oh
I just
man.
feel like it would be a twist. I don't want it, but I feel like that would be I don't know. I would almost expect it.
What about you, Laura?
No, she can't.
I don't want it. I hope
No.
it's wrong.
I don't know.
I feel like if it's not Jon or Dany or Sansa or Arya, it would be weird. Like, I just can't see it being someone
Unless like
outside of
something
those
random,
four.
like Tyrion goes rogue and kills everybody, and then he ends up on the throne. No, I don't know. I want it to be Jon, but
Like, there's all this stuff about the
I
fire
think
and
Da-
ice.
But I think Daenerys is gonna start to realize, like, she wants that throne, and I don't think she really cares what she has to do to get it. And I think that there's gonna be tension there.
Yeah. I feel like that might even just lead to her end, her ultimate end. Because she is not willing to stop.
Unless she starts killing off other main characters, because she does have a dragon.
That's true, but Jon can also ride a dragon, so...
Greg, who do you think's going to be on the throne at the end?
Dragon on dragon.
dragon.
I want to say Jon Snow, but I read this interesting thing, like Laura said, where Daenerys wins somehow, but she like destroys the Red Keep while she's at it, because remember she had that dream at the end of season 2.
Oh, right, that she like turned into her father type thing.
Yeah, and so they'll kind of like, it'll sort of be like, okay, you kind of went berserk, but we're still on good terms. You can rule here in the South like you wanted, but it's going to be all ruins. Jon Snow will be the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch / the North, and Sansa will be...
Winterfell?
Sorry, Arya's flying through the air right now.
So, wait, do you think there's still a need for the Night's Watch?
Yeah.
It's.
Like,
I think something weird may happen with Bran, and then they might be like,
Okay.
well,
Really
guess
loud.
we better...
Rebuild
Or,
that
like-
wall that fell down?
He'll rebuild the wall, and then it'll sort of like reset itself.
Okay.
I just like the theory that came about of this being all a bunch of nerds playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like, they pan out at the end, like whoever sits on the Iron Throne, but then it goes from black, and then it's just like five
Like the Big Bang Theory cast playing a
five
game.
people playing a board game.
Well,
Sheldon is
Somebody
rolling
said
dice.
that they thought that it would sort of pan out, it would be Samwell writing the history of the story.
Right, but then at least like it still happened, you know.
That feels very Lord of Ringsy
So
to
what
me.
if? So Greg, you know how
From
we
there
were
and back
talking
again.
you know
Again.
how we were talking with Aaron and Wes about the possibility of burning the Iron Throne, like melting down the Iron Throne in order to
Yes.
fight the Night King. Well, the Night King is God, but what if that is what they have to do to fight Bran, because Bran is actually evil?
So Bran is the big bad in the end. Ugh.
Because Jaime
I don't know.
turned him that way.
I don't know. I don't think Cersei is done being crazy evil. I don't know what words we're allowed to say on this show, so
I feel like she has nothing holding her back now.
I was about to say the B word.
All
so
her kids are.
I just
B word.
rewatched this scene where she blows everybody up in King's Landing,
Yeah.
and I feel like she's got one more move in her like that, but then...
Well, Kelly,
And you know what? I have this weird prediction that she's going to do something like that. Arya is going to know, and then she is going to say, well, you know what? Oh, well, I have to kill Jaime, wear his face, and then kill Cersei. But then
Oh yeah.
kind of like a, Jaime, I kind of need you for this type thing. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Although in the end, I sort of want Brienne and Jaime to get together, so I would feel bad if it
Yes.
wasn't. But then, like, maybe she could fall into the arms of Tormund.
I feel like maybe they'll have some post
big woman
battle.
here.
do we
They've bathed together before.
That's true.
think Bronn is going to go through with what Cersei demands of him? Killing Jaime?
No, I don't think he
Maybe
Do you
will.
think he's going to find them and then come back with them?
So,
don't think
so
so.
I predict one of two things happening. He will either, like kill Tyrion, and that'll be shocking, or they'll convince him to pretend like he did as part of a trap, which
Yeah.
I hope is what happens.
Yeah. I don't think in the end that he'll actually kill them.
No, because he was too good of friends. He was like Tyrion's first friend on the show.
Right.
And also, he was buddy-buddy with Jaime in the middle couple seasons there, too.
And I feel like he's been in situations in the past, too, where he's offered a lot of money to do something and then ultimately was like the good guy anyway.
I watched this whole thing. It was a 20-minute video on his character alone, on why they think he is going to be more of a hero than we think. And they think that was a red herring, that move right there. Because he talks about all of these references leading, you never know much about his history, but they theorize that he was in some royal family but was mistreated. And so that's why he seems like a mercenary, but if you notice his actions, they're all noble.
Ooh, I wonder if Bronn ends up on the Iron Throne.
Sellsword?
Dan,
Like a
what are the
whore
odds
or
of that
something.
one? Braun.
They were pretty high.
Pretty long odds there.
Well, is there anything else that we want to address? Anything from the past few seasons? Like, was there one super shocking death, or is there someone you wish would return, or something from you book readers, something from the books that they never addressed?
I mean, they never addressed Catelyn Stark, like Catelyn Stark coming back. Like in the book, she comes back.
Right, Lady Stoneheart.
Right, and now that, I mean, not that they were ever going to go that direction in the show, but I mean, they killed Beric and the
Melisandre.
only, yeah. So there's none.
There's no resurrectionists left anymore.
Right. I mean, I guess there could be in other cities. I know there's other like red priests out there, but like we're too far past that. It's not going to happen now. But I feel like it would have been interesting for them to bring Lady Stoneheart around. But even in the book, we don't know how that, like what happened with that, because we don't have a final book yet.
Right, well, we will in like 15 years.
Yeah, I won't care anymore then.
Yeah, like he really screwed himself over by not finishing these books during the movies or during the TV show, because no one's really going to care, because his version's going to be different than the show.
Right.
And
it's just a bunch of nerds going, that's not what happened.
I guess the only way that he'll be saved is if everyone really dislikes everything from last week on, and they just, kind of like How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Like no one really likes the last episode.
Terrible.
That's a great series,
Horrible.
but the end's just not good.
And honestly, the last episode has almost ruined the entire series for me.
Right?
My sister will rewatch everything. Like, she hates the ending, but she will still rewatch seasons and seasons. I can't, because I know how it ends, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm the same
I'm
way.
having trouble. Although, I will probably anytime the Slapsgiving episodes are watch this.
So good. Yeah, Slapsgiving is so good. Greg, what about you? Anything to add about Game of Thrones in general? It's been a wild ride since 2011. Kelly and I jumped on right before season 2. So we missed season 1, but we jumped in and caught up and then watched season 2 live, and we've been watching ever since. So we weren't in it at the beginning, but...
I jumped in after season 3 because you guys saw the Red Wedding and were like, oh my gosh, you have to watch this show. And...
Or don't watch this show because it's the worst thing ever.
That episode, I knew what happened because I had read the book, so I spent that episode watching Joey watch that episode, because I was sitting there like, I know what's happening.
And when that episode ended, I turned to her and goes, tell me everything that happens in the books, because I cannot go through that again. And she told me everything, and you read through, was it 5 books? Like basically through season 5-ish?
I think so.
Something like that. So like I got another like year and a half, 2 years of the show where I kind of knew what was going to happen, but then Kelly would be like, that's not how it happened in the books, that doesn't happen in the books, and then she's like, and now we're past where we were in the books, and now
I don't know.
Yeah, now we both get to red knuckle it as we're watching every week. So Laura, any final thoughts? When did you start watching? You had to get caught up quickly a few years ago.
Are you gonna let Greg answer? Because you just talked right over him.
Oh, my bad.
What?
Like, any final thoughts?
Worst best man ever.
Oh.
You're his poo pal. I can't believe you do that to him.
Sometimes I have no idea what to think, so...
Greg, I would like you to go see Endgame so that we could
please.
Listen,
we could analyze that this way.
I have like 20 other movies to watch before then.
Oh, really? How many do you need to watch?
I've seen all of the first movies of every big character. So Thor, all 3 Iron Mans.
Okay.
He's seen
the first Captain America.
Oh, you haven't seen Winter Soldier or Civil War?
No.
Oh.
In the first Avengers, that's it.
You haven't seen Age of Ultron or Infinity War either.
No.
I do not want to log onto Facebook and see that you are doing anything other than watching those movies so that you can get caught up, watch Endgame in the theaters, how it should be watched, and then we can discuss. Okay?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, don't go see Endgame until you've seen I mean, you don't have to see all of them, but you should definitely see Thor 2, Thor 3, Captain America 2, Captain America 3.
Both Guardians of
Avengers
the Galaxy.
2, Avengers 3, Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Ant-Man. No, you need to see all of them.
Yeah.
Really, just see them all.
You can skip Captain Marvel. We didn't see that.
We didn't see that, and we were fine. And we haven't seen the Hulk, but all the other ones we've seen. So we've seen 20 out of 22. So.
Can you go do
nice.
that? Buddy?
Can you do that like by the weekend?
By the weekend.
If I took, oh my gosh, I probably could watch 4 a day.
Yeah, some personal days coming your way, right? Just you
You're
sound
sick.
You sound sick.
He is losing his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
I have to teach music, so.
I feel like you look like a stomach thing's coming on, and you should probably just stay home.
You look ill. By the sound of your voice, you look ill.
Yes, I can tell.
So, Laura, final thoughts?
You still didn't let Greg answer. Did we let Greg answer?
No, I said I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay,
he said
all right,
he
that's
doesn't
fair.
know what to
That's
think.
fair. Okay, moving on.
I don't know either. I don't think there's any theory that I could formulate in my head that would be even close to what it's going to end up being.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think every time people try to guess, and you have these fan theories, and a lot of them have a lot of solid evidence, and there's a lot of background from either the books or the show, and people put these videos on YouTube all the time, and I feel like Game of Thrones is one of those properties that's going to be like, nope, fooled you. Although the what is it? R plus L equals J.
Yeah, that ends up being
that
true.
was true. So I don't know. We'll see. But it's been fun. The only thing I want to close with saying is I've said this on the show before, and I've said it to Kelly a bunch, but I thoroughly enjoy this show, but I will never rewatch it. Like, I don't want to own the seasons because I will never rewatch this show. It's not a show that I'm like, hey, let's pop this in and...
Oh, see, I want to rewatch the whole thing.
I have no interest. And once I know the story, I'm like, I'm good.
I would like to rewatch it. It will never be an over and over again, but I felt like I watched so many episodes so quickly because I was just trying to get caught up to where everybody else was that I don't think that I would have made it through if Greg wouldn't have been heavily explaining along the way in the beginning.
There were like really long breaks in between the seasons too.
I want to rewatch it because...
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when I started.
It was before, it was in the middle of season 4 because I was about to start watching it. You're like, no, I want to watch it. And so we had to rewatch all of it. And it took us to like episode 8, I think, to get...
Oh yeah, and I think that
well,
we
yeah,
all
because
watched
then
it together.
you guys came over and we watched it for the first time together. Yeah.
Also, I feel like that's marriage right there, where you're like, I'm going to watch this show that I'm really excited about, and then your spouse is like, no, you have to start all of them from the beginning again because I also want to see this, which is where we are right now with Supernatural.
That's true,
And
but I didn't make you do that.
No, that's because I don't have time to watch it.
What I was going to say was I started watching Cheers on Netflix, and Kelly started like in the middle of season 2. Now, she didn't say start this over, but she came home one day, and I was watching it, and she was like, what are you doing? I'm like, watching Cheers. She's like, I thought we were watching that together. It's like, I had started that. You started in the middle of season 2. I was like, okay. And then we watched a lot, and then like you lost interest, and I had to watch the final like 3 seasons by myself.
Yeah, I don't know how that ended. It dragged on for a while. It felt very 80s.
11 seasons is very long, so.
So, I will rewatch because watching all these theory videos and watching them link together old seasons and new, the writing is really good, and how there's like subtle things that somebody mentioned one time for 2 seconds in season 1, and it's like, oh my gosh, they brought that back.
Yeah.
Like,
That is impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great show. Like, I don't deny that at all, but I feel like dramas I'm far less inclined to rewatch. Comedies, I have no problem. I've watched Friends. I can't even count the number of times I've seen Friends.
That's why there were no dramas on my desert island list.
True.
That's true.
Well, thanks to everyone. Kelly, Laura, Greg, Justin, Dan.
Dan, you there?
And anyone that's been on in the past few episodes. This is fun, kind of a little divergence here on the show the last few months, taking a break from sports. But Justin and I will be back doing our NFL preview soon. 2 weeks from now, we are going to start talking NFL football as we get ready for the forthcoming 2019 NFL season. It takes 8 weeks for us to preview it, and because of vacations and holidays and whatnot, we got to start it in 2 weeks. So get ready for that, sports fans. We will be back.
And if you're bored by that, you can turn into the K. Mays and L. Hill show.
I know. I think we should do that, where we just complain about
who would have more
popular
listeners?
culture.
Let's see.
I have offered that to you on multiple occasions.
I know.
It is true.
Nobody got time for that.
But you've offered it when like we're in our sweatpants watching the Oscars, drinking a lot of wine, and that's just not the time.
The only thing different about that right now is that you don't have the wine.
I just told someone at work the other day how you and I drank that entire bottle of Rex Goliath, and then Joey and Greg came home with McDonald's, and we were like personally offended that they didn't bring McDonald's for us.
Even though we said we didn't want it.
We said we didn't want it, which clearly meant that we wanted it, and you should have brought it for us anyway.
You could start a podcast called We Drink and Know Things, and you'd be set.
Yeah.
I can produce for you, but I'm not gonna.
I bet there's a podcast out there.
I don't want to.
I feel like we don't drink enough to make that be.
But you could.
No. You got to start with the bottle of Rex Goliath and then start talking. And
the theme song could be like in a galaxy or a long time ago, and then play like the Star Wars theme song and just pan to Rex Goliath. That was our life before kids.
Remember?
No. All right, Greg, Dan, thanks for joining us. We will say goodbye to you, and
we have an episode to
whenever
watch.
we do this,
Right.
whenever we do this again, we will let you know. All right, thanks for joining us, you two. See you later. All right, gonna do the outro here, and then we'll be gone. So thanks for joining us, everyone, for episode 276 of the Joe Mays and J-Raff Show. We will be back in 2 weeks to start our NFL previews. Justin will be here, unless Laura wants to give her take on how she thinks the Eagles are going to be next year. Maybe.
No one cares.
It's tempting, but
no one cares.
But no, gonna pass on that one.
Crab's not. Sorry.
All right, everyone. This wraps up the show. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks for listening to the Joe Mays and J-Raff Show. Tune in every Sunday for the latest sports discussions from Joe and Justin. Each episode is available live
On Facebook Live.
and can be downloaded or streamed on iTunes and SoundCloud. You can interact with Joe and Justin on Facebook and Twitter, and stay up to date with the guys at joemaysandjraff.com. The Joe Mays and J-Raff Show is part of the JMNJR Radio Network. For more info, visit jmnjrradio.com.